Now, Godzilla!
Godzilla! You can pretend Godzilla turns a mighty castle into a pile of sand.
Go do it, Godzilla!
You control Godzilla's ugly tongue. You can make him stomp, pound his tail, pretending he strikes it all in his way. You can launch Godzilla's claw for the final blow.
We did it!
What will Godzilla do next? It's up to you. Godzilla with a claw that launches, some assembly required, from the Shogun Warrior Collection by Mattel.
君の怪獣たちが今暴れ出す。宇宙の大バトル、勝負を決めるのは君だ。ウルトラ怪獣シリーズサーガに変身。
Now a special presentation, because we are here tonight to talk with two very awesome people from Mondo about some very cool collectible releases that are coming out. If you are just joining us and never have seen Collect All Monsters before, welcome. We do a live stream every month that's sort of a basics show, and then we do cool supplemental stuff like this as much as we can. We currently have 23 people watching right now, both on YouTube and on Facebook. And thank you guys all for being here. Say hello to some people. We got Luminous, Michael Hang, Zachary Champagne, Nick Sides, Helmi Abdat, Ryan Wilhelm, Eric Stolp, David Robertson. Man, we got a ton of people watching already. I can't even spend the time on that right now, because let's go ahead and bring on our very, very special guests. We're going to bring them up from the depths of the Mondo creative department with Godzilla brimming with destruction. And thank you to Hector and Peter for being here. Okay, so these guys, I could give them a really long introduction, but I feel like we don't really have the time for it. So what I'll do instead is I'll ask Peter and Hector, who we've actually had the pleasure of having on some of our stream stuff before. So thank you again for being with us and willing to talk about Mondo. Yeah, dude, Hector was on our Tiki.
That's right. Happy hour.
Stream.
Our Tiki happy hour. That was fun.
Yes,
we need to do another one of those for sure.
Ages ago. Yeah, and Peter, of course, we've had on several times, and these wonderful guys I'm going to stop talking about, because what I really want to hear is a super brief intro and how do you get to the position you're in right now with Mondo, because there's been a lot of changes in life for both Hector and Peter in the past couple of years. So who wants to go first?
What was the question? How I got to where I am now?
Yeah. Who are you and what are you doing here?
So I guess for those of you who don't know, I'm Peter Santa Maria, and I make work under the moniker Attack Peter. It's a little brand that I started designing handmade linoleum block prints that I carve and ink and print, and then we got lots of fun prints out of that. I did some work with Mondo a few years ago, started a great relationship there, and then most notably we released the Attack Peter Godzilla figure, thanks to the vision of Hector and the team there.
Amazing.
Being able to see this through and make this a reality, the first ever linoleum block print figure that looks like a print, and as of last November, I joined the team full time, and I'm now a senior creative director over at Mondo, which is amazing. Living the dream.
Congrats on that, by the way.
Right? Awesome. Oh my goodness.
Now I get paid to bother Hector.
Oh, nice.
It's true.
Way to rise up, man.
But now, doesn't that mean a bunch of people are coming up to you and saying, "Hey, man, you got that Godzilla license? You got that Godzilla license?"
Yes, exactly.
You're gonna get a little taste of that yourself.
Yes.
Now he has like a whole world to like completely plan. So
all the licenses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Oh, thanks, David. And
All right.
and more handsome.
Well, of course. I mean, that's without say.
Thank you.
So Hector, how about you, my friend? You also have a very interesting history bringing people up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Mondo now for almost 5 years, I think, something like that. But it's been a minute, and yeah, I've been the creative director here for the toys department for the last 3 around there. So, yeah, working with Peter, working with some really talented individuals, talented artists, and yeah, living the dream, man. I love, working at Mondo was one of those places that I never thought I'd get to. Like I was always on the other side of the line at like for Comic-Con and stuff like that, waiting to buy the prints or whatever it was, for sale. So being on the other side now, it's pretty cool. It's pretty surreal. And yeah, I'm having a great time. Yeah, and Peter bugs me every day. So it's
Multiple times.
Yeah, it's always for good things.
I mean, saying the phrase "living the dream." I mean, really got to lean hard into that when I talk to these guys, because man, you guys have been producing some really killer stuff over the past more than just couple of years. My God. Before we really get into the stuff coming up, I just have a quick icebreaker question for the two of you. We do a ton of Godzilla stuff, and you did Pulgasari.
Oh yeah,
figure.
Right.
Okay, but what about other kaiju entities out there aside from the Toho licensing? What out there would you like to at least dip Mondo's toes in?
Yeah, I mean,
I know what Peter's going to say there. Duh, that's what Peter's going to say. I knew that was coming.
Nice.
I mean, I mean, Ultraman obviously is something that we want to start working on as soon as possible. Gamma is
nice.
as well. But yeah, I mean, it would be fun to do some other obscure kaiju as well. We kind of started our whole soft vinyl toy line with Pulgasari. We didn't have the Godzilla.
What a journey!
So, out of all everything to pick, that one was such a cool. So it was really cool to bring it to life and have it exist in a way where some people were able to buy it. Right? It's such an obscure character. But yeah, I mean that's those Ultraman, Gamera for me.
And you know what's cool about that, Hector? The Pulgasari, I think you brought that property into the forefront, and collectors and kaiju fans went out and bought that film or found a way to watch it, stream it, because I dare say not a whole lot of people knew that monster before. The only one from Korea, as far as we know, except for Yongore was also from Korea too, right?
Yeah, and that's one that I would love to do too. I think that the rights are kind of murky with that one. So
yeah,
and it might be one of those. It might be too obscure to put like the man hours behind, but I mean, that would be another one I would love to do.
Talking about obscure, David's husband Keith is watching and says Zerum would be awesome. And actually, as soon as he said that, I was thinking about Peter's style for a Zerum
his aesthetic,
poster, and I was like, boom, mic drop. That is brilliant. Brilliant, Keith. So,
I'm not familiar with Zerum. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, you got to watch that movie. Zerum,
crazy direct-to-video movie from like the late '80s. They had a sequel and an anime series. Anyway, that's not Godzilla. That's not Kaiju. So we should probably move along.
Whatever. It's okay. It's okay.
It is all okay. It's all about all monsters, right? We're collecting all monsters, even the ones that are cybernetic bounty hunter robots from the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking,
one of our viewers, Johnny, just said what I was about to say. An attack Peter Giron. I can see it now. The knife-headed kaiju from Gamera. I can see Peter doing that. I don't know. Forgive me if you've already done a print of that.
I did Gamera versus Giron, but I'm more.
I don't think I've ever seen that one. But a figure of Giron, like the knife, we could
Yeah, I love that idea. I think even better idea is Nash Villains in the chat says attack Peter for governor. Why stop at designing another monster? Like, let's just go right to the top.
You heard it here, probably
you.
third.
You got my vote.
I'm guessing on
Just
Peter's
write me
streams
in.
and the Mondo streams. He's already running.
You got
for
my
governor.
vote.
Yeah, at some point you'll need to attack Peter yourself. And
Yeah, exactly.
Defend
All
your
I
city
would
from
know.
Peter.
So it's going to give a whole new meaning to the attack ads.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Love
right.
that. Yeah, I mean,
So-
in terms
Thanks,
of being
Jonathan.
able,
Thank you, Jonathan.
yeah, in terms of being able to do obscure stuff and all that, I mean, I think, Hector and I have talked about this. It's like every time we get to do something, it's like we just want to make sure that we do it justice and that it's worthy of the effort and the time, and that that there's a demand for it. So I have quite a few Ultraman figures, but I really still feel like there's an opportunity to do the Ultraman, the whole pantheon, especially the original Ultraman 60 and even Ultra 7 stuff, in a way that like honors the Sofubi collectors, but also I think there's room to do something that feels new and fresh, and to your point, David, to like bring it back into the forefront, because there are other people doing Ultraman stuff. It's incredible stuff. A shout out Mark Nagata and
Totally.
what he does
For
over there.
sure.
Stuff's gorgeous. But we do have this, I don't know if I want to say a responsibility, but we do have a platform at Mondo, and it's when you put something on the platform there, a lot of people see it. So I think for the sake of all the the fans, it would be awesome to be able to get some Ultraman stuff put forth. Now it's just figuring out how to reimagine it or how to envision it so it feels loyal to the original stuff, but also
But
fresh.
still fresh.
That's the challenge.
Still
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah.
Mhm.
I got to give a compliment to the company Mondo, because what a lot
Thank
of
you.
companies don't do is some companies just do Sofubi, some companies just do model kits, some companies just do realistic. Now you guys, you've got Sofubi, you've got Peter sort of in between Sofubi and realistic, and then you've got Hector's statues, which are very realistic and very awesome. So you're really filling in the
Posters.
gaps of all of the collectors out there. So there's something for everybody from Mondo, and I absolutely love that, because it's like
The vinyl soundtracks too.
yeah, and the vinyl soundtracks too.
Posters,
You can
yeah.
add to the list too. But as far as collectible figures, you're
Yeah.
really covering all bases, because there is something for everyone, and I think that is where you're going to be successful. Because
I think it's a little bit of our just lack of attention to like wanting to do everything. It was basically it'll be just like, oh yeah, we should definitely do articulated figures. Those are awesome. It's like, oh wow. So
it's
let's
a happy-
we should also do this. Basically,
it's a happy accident, because even
Yeah.
within our co-hosts, Kyle, Christine, and I kind of do a little bit of everything. Christine's mostly Sofubi, but Leslie doesn't do any Sofubi, but yet he gets your realistic statues, and he loves that kind of thing. So even in our own little group, we have a lot of diversity. So that's just a
There's
small
a microcosm of Mondo happening within Collect All
Yeah.
Monsters.
exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
We love it. We love that stuff.
Yeah.
There's
we
something for
definitely try to
everybody.
dabble in a little bit of everything, right?
Which is good.
And
Which is
whatever
great.
we can get our hands on. And yeah, and shout out to the posters team and the records team for giving Godzilla fans a plethora of amazing Godzilla prints and records for the last 3 years, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
And in our department, our goal here is really to try to do something that's a little unique and feels a bit different than what's been put out before.
Outstanding.
And that's kind of like with James Groman's Godzilla, right? And Attack Peter's Godzilla, now Mechagodzilla that's coming out at some point later this year and stuff like that. So, and then when we designed the soft vinyl, and for me, it's just trying to do something that harkens back to that retro Japanese Sofubi feel, but modernizing it a bit and kind of making it feel like Mondo's own thing. So,
Yeah. I think that is the secret sauce of Mondo. Is it's always been curating the titles, the properties, and matching them up with original takes from different artists, and then following the hype. So if there's no chance there's an Attack Peter Godzilla figure if the prints didn't do well, right? And the prints did well, and then the vision of like, hey, this is good. Let's follow this through and see where it goes. And doing that, with James Groman. James Groman's figures have been, and all his figures, his original stuff, it's always been like people just, I mean, I've said it before. If you don't know this about James Groman, I've seen this happen firsthand. People fly in from other countries to attend a convention, to get a chance to get a raffle ticket, to win the possibility
to spend $2,000.
To spend $2,000 on a figure. And I saw a couple who flew in from China and tried to get one and lost. And the wife started crying in front of, like, it was so uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was a little too much, and it was uncomfortable, and James didn't know how to deal with it, and then it was just awkward for everybody. So the point is, don't worry about those $2,000 figures. Get the ones that are more reasonably priced at mondoshop.com, like this one right here.
Like this amazing Godzilla.
You know what I mean?
What a
Nobody has to
segue.
cry. No more tears.
Speaking of which, we are almost sold out. Actually,
Oh, shit.
Nice.
There's only like
Congratulations.
100 left, so it's the response to it has been amazing. I'm so happy for James. Like this was, he's been wanting
the
to
broken
do
toe
Godzilla for so long, and this is kind of like a mixture between his take and mixing it with his whole Rod Rex kind of style that he's been doing with a lot of his own figures that he releases that cost $2,000 and people cry over. So luckily enough, Toho was willing to let us do this that you're looking at right now, which is like a completely kind of like a gross out take on Godzilla. But they were cool with it, and thankfully, to all the folks over there who were able to let us create this, it's incredible. So, big shout out to the folks at Toho, Chris Mowry, James killed it. I couldn't be happier with this piece.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about if you think about it, if you grew up as a kid in the late 80s and early 90s, you remember the trend of gross out toys being like the thing, Mad Balls and My Pet Monster, right?
Garbage Pail Kids, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, James designed and had a huge hand in so many of those figure lines back then. Barnyard Commandos is another one. And so Food Fighters. And so like being able to have that stylistic approach to Godzilla just makes sense. It's almost crazy it didn't already exist, but being able to usher that through and see it come to life.
Hold that thought. Just that little picture. I don't know if you all recognize what that is.
Thank you. Yeah.
That we snuck in
is
there.
a trilobite.
He's got a trilobite on his feet and his tail. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Had to sneak it in there.
I didn't see that till now. That's cute.
Sorry to interrupt you, Peter.
No,
that's
but that's the
good.
point.
Because that was
that's
one
the
of those. James's stuff is always, we always love to shove Easter eggs where we can. And Godzilla, while obviously has a lot of stuff going on. We were trying to figure out what can we kind of hide in there that'd be fun. And as you're discovering it, you're going to see them. So we hid some of these little trilobites at his feet, but then we definitely took inspiration from '84 for the one on his tail.
So that's a louse. You got a sea louse and trilobites, right?
Yeah.
You got both. So so it pays homage to both of those because it is clearly a '54 inspiration. Right?
Yeah, I would say yes and no.
Oxygen destroyer sort of
damage,
maybe. Right?
I can see a bunch of stuff going on in here. Honestly, I think when you first
that looks
had
Heisei
the
from there.
images,
When
we first started seeing the concept art just alone, it looked very Shodai, right? The very 54 look to it.
True.
But now that I'm seeing all these pictures, and shout out to your toy photographers, by the way, because my God, there was over 40 beautifully high-res images on the Mondo website that I just swiped for this.
Yeah, look at that one. That's fantastic.
It was fantastic.
That looks Shodai to me. That angle.
Yeah. I mean,
it is different. I like this. It's something different that we don't have yet.
That's the point, right? So we're just talking about yes, we have the license, and yes, we do these figures, but at some point, why bother if we're not going to figure out something new? Because we're always thinking like collectors, you know. And thank God that we both happen to be big Godzilla fans and collectors, because we can look at our own collection and go, what's missing?
It's clear.
And thank God we were able to go to David's house and see his collection and see what's literally missing from the world of collectibles. Yeah, that was very enlightening.
It was wonderful to have you, even though I made your cocktail totally wrong, and you were so
delicious.
sweet. You drank it anyway.
It was so good.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But it was so great to have them here, like impromptu visit, and and it was great because they got to see some of their stuff in my collection. Like, hello.
Yes, I love that. But that's
not
the
Godzilla,
point.
but still
exactly the room.
And then here's a not to be outdone.
Yes.
I mean,
the cherry blossom.
We've all got examples ready to show of your stuff because we're pretty hardcore collectors. We've all been doing it for years. Like Kyle and I have been in the game for I can't even tell you how many years. And Christine just dove in head first. She's got like so many Sofubi figures. But the fact that we respond to your stuff is you're hitting it right on because you're getting new fans, you're getting the old fans, you're hitting all the sweet spots. So keep doing what you're doing. And you know, I love that you do. I'll tell everybody out there, these guys do reach out and ask us questions like, what do you think we should do next? Or do you think this would be a good seller? Or what are the people asking you guys for? What do they want to see? And you know, I think that's fantastic. And that's a good way to sort of stay, you know, put your finger on the pulse of what the community wants, what the fandom wants. Right.
Yeah, because that's what we do it for. Like we consider ourselves fans too. So we first try to please ourselves. I think if we at least try to please ourselves, there's a good chance we're going to please others. But then when we get that checked, then we can go and say, how about you guys? What do you think? You know, and it feels good when people respond in a positive way. That's the whole point.
It's funny you say that because for the soft vinyl line, like they're all selfish choices for me.
Yeah,
like, completely selfish.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Every single one I've wanted to make and sculpt, it's basically just going boom.
I think
boom,
that's
boom,
one of the.
boom.
That's why we're really lucky as Godzilla fans because like I know that from my chats with Peter and and Hector, like these guys aren't. They didn't just go, okay, what's on the license list? What's this Godzilla thing? Like these guys know this. Hector has been doing Godzilla. He's been in my Godzilla sphere of knowledge since the 2014 film.
Because of the posters, right?
Same, yes.
You got into
no,
it with
that
the posters,
statue.
right? That's how
the statues.
Statue. Yeah.
I don't think
you
David
made that as a fan, right? You weren't.
Yeah, man.
That's how I remember.
That's
David. Do you know this story? Do you know this?
I don't think I do.
Hector, you're gonna have to tell him.
Please.
How do I not know this story?
It's a cool story.
No, yeah.
Don't get too excited because you'll probably be upset, David. But go ahead anyway.
I'm gonna be upset.
But go ahead.
I've been in the Godzilla world professionally for the last 14 years, basically. And when I was in school, I was just sculpting stuff for fun, and Godzilla was one of the things I sculpted. Long story short, I posted it on some DeviantArt or whatever, and it was picked up by one of the producers from Legendary, and they pretty much were like, hey, can you come by and help us design, help us come up with the look of Godzilla, and for the film. So that's
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, so I did very, 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 very early work on that movie, and it was amazing. It was like a dream come true.
And this,
I remember
one. That.
Oh my
That's
God.
yours.
The thing is, I'm like,
I totally remember that. Seeing that go around, that's pretty cool.
That was from way long.
Wow.
Way long.
Isn't that crazy?
Anyway,
I wish
you think about it now, it
really
just feels so long ago, right?
Sorry,
It does, but it doesn't. Because I remember seeing that stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, was it really
that's
long
pretty
ago?
pretty cool.
Small world.
Real quick, I want to say something that's going to relate to what we were just talking about, because when the last time Collect All Monsters was at G-Fest, we had Yuji and Michi Nishimura from M1 on stage, and we had a translator, and Kyle was asking them questions, and we had an audience, and Yuji basically said exactly what you said, Hector. I was looking for things in my collection that was missing, that no one was producing, and I made it for me. And then people, sort of latched onto it and they said, "Oh, I want this too." And that's how the origin of M1 started. I think, wasn't it, Kyle? Wasn't it a Kimujin figure, the very first one?
I can't remember which one was the first one, but basically, yeah, it was like looking at the holes in his collection and being like, okay, I got to make these, yeah.
And it wasn't for, he wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm going to make money on making Ultraman." He says, "You know what? I've always wanted a figure like a Marasan or a Bullmark, and no one ever did it, so I'm going to do it." And that's how, I love that story, and I hope that everybody got to hear that part of the conversation, because I think that's really interesting. Because M1, as we all know, is one of the premier Sofubi companies worldwide.
I mean, there's no other choice. Like, that's the only thing you can do if you're an honest creator, is because you can't second guess everybody. Like, we have no illusion that any single thing we put out is going to be, some people aren't going to like it. It's obvious. Like, it would be crazy. I mean, hopefully one day we've hit on that one thing that everybody has to have, right? Then we'll be just fine. But the reality is, someone's always going to be like, "Oh, it's not for me. I do that even with the stuff that I collect." I'm like, that's really cool. I will not be buying it. It has not hit that mark for me, but I love that other people love it, right?
Totally.
And
100%.
so, but if we please ourselves, then I feel like we're at least off to a good and honest start, and then we can go from there,
And it translates the fact that you're fans. It comes across in what you in
we
the
are,
work that you do. So
Right
on.
I mean, every single time we make a new, for me, one of the pride and joy of Mondo is working on this final Godzilla figures, and for me, even I just kind of pick the monster I've been wanting to do. Yeah, I've been wanting to do. For me, it was like after we did the '84. It was, and had the Hedera, it was in, I think it was Jet Jaguar. It was like, okay, I want to do Biollante. I don't know if people are going to dig Biollante, but I'm just going to do, it's one of my favorite kaiju of all time. So I'm going to do it, and whatever, let's see what happens. Kind of roll the dice.
You got good taste, man.
It never translates how really big that figure is in any
gigantic.
picture, in any video. Until you're holding it, you don't get a sense of how massive it is. Right?
Wow.
It's so like all the space is basically a cube.
Yeah, it is.
It's essentially a cube. And I think that the same can probably be said about the James Groman figure.
That's bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, 12 inches tall, right? And that's exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty big.
And so, just so you know, this is a smaller version.
Yes, this is not the accurate size.
Early print that we did. This is an early print that we did just to see. Just a sample, right? And we had James Peanut and stuff. But the actual figure is going to be 12 inches. So this is 10 right now. It'll be 12.
12 inches.
It'll be this tall, and the tail will be about to here. So it's going to be.
Yeah.
So this is already pretty big, but it's going to be much bigger. So final product.
And I saw some people in some of the groups today saying, "Oh, it's not big enough," and I'm like, "Well, I agree that I don't think every picture really shows the proper scale correctly, but people should know, if you're an X Plus collector, the 30 centimeter line and a 12-inch height, what it really translates into. And he's hunched over and he's going to hit 12 inches. So the proportions are going to be nice and meaty. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a small figure. That is not a small figure. And, collectors, you see this now, collectors dust off some space, man, because that is bigger than...
They say a cube, that's also the footprint.
Yes.
The footprint.
Wow.
It's all about
literally
the
it'll probably fill up a whole if you have the Kalak shelves, but wow.
It's going on the top of something.
That's so
for
cool.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
So cool, man.
Thank you so much for showing the prototype.
that you guys have put. I think it's more than just. I love what Mondo has done, but I love that we are getting these sort of crazy Godzillas that we haven't been able to see before. I hope that can continue in some form or fashion, right? Because that's kind of
that's cool.
Come on, man.
There's nothing out there like that. Yeah, that's so cool. It's such a different idea.
And there's so many awesome companies and even unofficial sources for great Godzilla figures, Kaiju figures. You can't really be in this space unless you're going to try something new. I don't think it's fair to fans if you're not going to at least try to push the envelope somehow, because even if you feel like it goes too far for some people, it'll still push open a door that wasn't open before, and then other people will think, well, what else can be done? You know what I mean? So that's great for all of us.
We've already taken care of that you have pieces that you can interchange. Sorry, Kyle.
Right?
You're good, dude.
You can put without damage, or you can put the damage on there. You can switch it up. So if you're not into that, because I saw some comments be like, "Oh, it makes me sad looking at Godzilla in that state." It's like, come on, man, get over yourself.
Well, you know what? That's
not. Don't get over yourself. Just put the other head on, and you're
Right?
good. But it's like,
but I mean, that's kind of the point. I mean, when we were designing it and when James was designing it, originally it was just going to be the torn up parts.
the damage part.
And because but when I started thinking about, well, as a collector, maybe I do want to display it without that. So let's give folks the option, right? Let's strategically place where we're going to do the battle damage so that we can remove it and swap it out with stuff. Because he was actually a lot more in the original concept. He had damage all over his body and stuff like that. So in his legs. So we kind of really tapered it down and made it to where let's just do a couple swappable parts, still in the spirit of what James has done in his career with his own sculpts and his style, but I wanted to give folks the option to just display it without any battle damage.
Is it magnetic? The interchangeable parts are magnetic?
I don't know if that's what the final thing is going to be. I don't think so because they're all articulated. So it's we want all the parts to move, so it may not be magnetic. No.
John Ruffin just said he just pre-ordered it. There you go.
That's the seal of approval.
Cha-ching! That is the sign of approval. That is because we see what John bought. John bought it.
All right. Well, so if you do want to buy this,
yeah,
you can get the figure right now. Like they said, they're running low, but it is still available right now. So you can head over to the Mondo website if you would like to purchase that figure. But that's what's available starting today as a pre-order. I want to talk about what's coming up soon. Mm-hmm. How goes the license? How is the current state of Mondo and Godzilla? We saw a couple of photos recently, which I'll go shuffle off to right now from the Licensing Expo.
I like this one.
A couple of months in 2023 at Las Vegas. And I actually had the fortune to attend the Licensing Expo several years ago. I think 2017.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Which was it was the first year Toho was there, so I was trying to, for the Kaiju Cast, I was trying to get an interview. Difficult to score for the Kaiju Cast, I'll tell you, but it seems like it's gotten more interesting because now Mondo's showing off cool stuff.
Look at that handsome guy.
What a stuff.
And Peter too.
It's hard, but everything has to measure up. The funny thing is, booth, our Mondo booth was, we walked around, it was a cool looking show, but the Mondo display was by far the most fun, and we had tons of stuff. Hey, thanks, Zachary. We had
colorful.
You know what, dude? Actually, the year I went, the Funko booth was off the hook. It was
that was our
really
booth,
crazy cool. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
We're seeing your figure here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this this Mechagodzilla figure?
Yeah.
Because this is clearly the update to your Godzilla.
Yeah, the crazy thing, this one was really hard to nail down in terms of the design, because to me, the Showa Mechagodzilla design is a perfect design. I agree. It's done. It's perfect.
Nothing's ever beat it.
Nope.
Yes, it'll never be better than that. At best, you can do an also ran that people like, but it's not going to beat it. And so, one of the most popular prints I'd ever made was the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla print in 2020. And so I spoke to Hector about it, and what should we do next? And when we said Mechagodzilla, we're like, fuck, that's the one. Oh, excuse me, that's the one. That was French. Good. Sorry. That's the.
All right, put $1 in the jar.
Sorry. That's the one. And, that's
perfect.
That's perfect.
That's good.
And there was, it's a tough one, because how do you indicate that it's been stylized and still preserve that great design? So the head is the biggest departure, in that we pushed a lot of the features. We really flared up the eyebrow ridge. Toho was generous enough to let me put an asterisk in the little ear, red ear sections instead of the little rings that are normally there. which is like a fun Easter egg. Like they just
Nice.
allowed that, which is awesome. And you know, we like I said, we pushed the angles in the eyebrows, made them look really angry and tough.
Love the eyebrows. Love those
It's like
eyebrows.
samurai looking.
Yeah, there's
too.
definitely some of that.
Like the
And
heckle, yeah.
and in the eyes, like if you know, and if you guys have your X Plus gigantic Mechagodzilla perfect figure, like there's like you can clearly see there's like some kind of ring design underneath the eye, you know, pieces. And so I just wanted to exaggerate that wherever I could find an opportunity to create patterning and texture and mark making and have it make sense. So in the body, since it's a metallic, you know, figure, it's just creating the effect of iridescence by having like dark and light and dark and light, you know, constantly changing like metal, you know, tends to do. And then still making it look like it was carved with the little tick marks and having those kind of you know, flared off lines in certain areas to kind of create that as well. So it had to both feel very much like Mechagodzilla and still feel you know, I guess Attack Peter-y enough for me to have the audacity to put my name on it. So we came to this great, you know, happy medium that I think even if you don't know me or my artwork and you just want a Mechagodzilla figure, this could be one.
It'll still
that
work
fits
for
in
you.
your
It will
yeah,
still
I think
work
so.
for that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I love it.
It's really, like you said, you've kept the aesthetic of the actual, I guess the monster robot,
Yeah.
and added your flair to it, but it's not going to anger anybody who's a purist because you know that this is what Mechagodzilla looks like essentially, right?
And that was important because, you know, the soft vinyl line that you know we had been releasing, we hadn't done a Mechagodzilla yet, and so I'm like, oh great, now I'm gonna do my Mechagodzilla and potentially like take that slot from the line. So I wanted to make sure that it could at least be a figure that somebody could collect in their soft vinyl line. And so that's the reason we ended up doing this like a metallic paint on it, because it feels like it could be someone's Mechagodzilla. And when you look at the bull mark and the Marusan stuff, they're stylized too. So it does play into that as well.
I think for us it was trying to do a continuation of the Attack Peter Godzilla that we did a few years ago, right? This one's bigger. This one's 10 inches. So it's something we wish we would have done with that one that Christine's holding up. We wanted to make it bigger, but at the time it was part of the Godzilla Museum line. So this one's going to be a true Sofubi with articulation.
Nice.
Yeah,
so
his head goes all the way around.
Yeah, his head, his arms, his hands, his spin. So it's going to be a complete 100% rotovinyl, and so we're really excited to have that figure be in that scale, and a much bigger scale where you can really appreciate all the detail. And it was super tough. I mean, it's like Peter was saying, it was trying to get that balance of Mechagodzilla, making it recognizable,
and Peter's aesthetic.
Mechagodzilla, especially that design, is already so busy. It already, you know, has all the rivets and all these like things going on. And so how do you balance Peter's line work, right, in between all that? So it was a happy, like him and I, we were going back and forth a lot. Like, okay, like this part needs to be reduced. It's feeling too busy, or this is clashing here and there. It took a minute, and then to get it into 3D, that was even harder because that took a long time to nail. Especially, it was like going back with Tufan, who did the sculpt on this.
Yeah, shout out Tufan Caesar.
Yeah, to just knit. You know, it's one thing the face, I think, took us the longest to nail, and the belly. It was what we were like. The belly he needs to have a belly. He needs to have that barrel.
I love it.
Gotta have that pot belly.
Yeah.
And I have it here, so you can kind of see.
Oh,
that's so cute. It just looks like you just want to squish him. Wow.
You know what? You know what? You guys, I don't know if it was Peter or Hector said a minute or two ago. We want to produce a piece that everybody wants and everybody needs to get. I think you've done it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I hope so.
Yep.
I'm clairvoyant.
Phenomenal.
This is
Thank
the one.
you. I was most concerned with John Ruffin's opinion, and early on, I got a major thumbs up, and so I'm like, well, that's all I need. Now I feel knighted, frankly.
And pass the John Ruffin test.
That's it.
But I think this one is going to be the one that people everybody across the board, no matter what their sensibilities are, They're going to want this
Fantastic.
guy, and I'm
Thank
included
you.
in that batch.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
we're both extremely proud of how this figure has come out. It's hopefully it'll be available sometime this year. We're not quite sure.
Nice.
I'm assuming in the fall. It's in tooling right now. So once we get samples and all that and get that painted, we'll go from there. But this is one version of it. This is one colorway, and we felt that it'd be. We needed to have a silver version, and even though it's a little bit of a departure of what Peter normally does with his art, we added some color and stuff just to kind of like make this feel a bit more Mechagodzilla. But there we can say it, right? There is going to be a version that's black and white that's very similar.
Awesome. Earlier in the chat, somebody asked for that. They were like, "Oh,
Yes.
this would be great if it was in Peter's black and white style too."
Yes.
So that's
Just keep your eyes peeled for
Comic
Comic-Con.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll hopefully have that one on display there and showing it off.
And also
Awesome.
keep watching Collect All Monsters because we're going to let you know as soon as we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as we know, you're going to know.
Zachary Champagne is asking if you guys have any other kaiju planned. I think he's actually specifically about this Peter style line.
Like Peter line, yeah. Probably.
Man, I mean, well, I think, and Hector will set me straight if I'm wrong here, but I think as long as people keep digging them, we'd love to keep making them, and
Keep buying them, people.
I definitely, look, you'll know it's done when we get to Ibira.
Oh.
And there's a
Oh,
solo, that'll be the last one that we do, and that's it at that point. Because if we got that far and you're willing to support Ibira, then we've done it all. We've said it all.
I would do
I
a
love
Bira
Abby,
before.
yeah.
I would do a Bira before a lot of other monsters.
I love Ibira.
Nice.
Me too. I love that.
I've never done
That's
Skid
underrated
Row.
film. I would too. That's an underrated movie.
Little known fact, and Hector will back me up, the original design for the Godzilla Christine's holding, he had an Ibira claw, and we sculpted it. It was part of it and everything. It's just that by the end it came up to be super like ineffective in terms of the cost, and it would have been like in the future maybe we'll get to it. We'll just sell a claw by itself.
I think-
Yeah, there you go.
Replacement parts.
What we need to do for
The mail away Mondo replacement parts.
Right.
Build a figure.
Yeah.
I would love to revisit Godzilla, but in the size of this Mechagodzilla. So now you can start. collecting them.
Would you guys be
Scale,
down with that?
yeah.
I'd love to know what the chat thinks of that idea because, once you get this Mechagodzilla in hands, like Hector says, you're going to see it's much larger and it fits with the majority of your figure collection, right? And it's like an
Is it?
actual
Yeah.
10-inch scale.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's see.
so
So
this
people
was
watching
Safumi
live.
style.
Here, Hector's going to
Hang
show
on,
you a
Christine.
size
So
comparison.
people
Here you
watching
go.
live, listen up. So what Peter is specifically asking all 67 people watching live
Wow.
right
Yes.
now is, would you be interested in more figures? Oh wait, who has it? Hector, you have the
Hector's
size,
got 'em.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The original.
This is
So
this is the original
Mechagodzilla.
size.
Look at that.
Wow,
So much
bigger.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we
yeah,
want
no,
more
you got- you know
sofa
what?
be
We
size
need one this
style
tall.
figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now
Yeah,
you got to
plus
do
this is
Godzilla.
more-
Now you got to do a Godzilla companion. So you got to do that.
And this is more statuary, right? I mean, he
Totally.
has no posability or anything. It's meant to be a vinyl statue, whereas like the Mechagodzilla is going to have articulation and all of that. So I think we should do one, right?
Helmy,
Yes.
I see Helmy in the chat. He keeps saying gigantic. Any day if we think that we can move that. Don't get me wrong. We would love to do a gigantic, but at least Godzilla that matches the Mechagodzilla would
Totally.
be awesome. If you guys think that'd be
We'll
rad.
start there, and then we'll
Yeah.
move on to the
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
How many
This is
loves
so
the
exciting
gigantic
because,
figure?
like-
Me too.
What's up, Richie?
Right.
So
Hey,
Hi, Rich.
Bam.
It's neat because
yeah, we got a
I
full house tonight.
never
Fresh.
thought that we would get something like when you think of Godzilla figures, like there's so many different things out there, and like this is something I'd never imagined. Like this is what I love about like Mondo and like the community and all that, because you get like we never would have had something like this if it wasn't for even like your style, Peter, like
Yeah.
the way, and like whoever would have thought we would have a linoleum print, like something just so different.
Well, let me
that
tell you,
I-
give all the praise to Hector and the team because I went before Hector. I took a bunch of designs that looked like that with different characters, 2 different companies saying, "Hey, let's be the first ones out the gate and doing an official, linoleum block print design figure." And everyone's like, "It's super cool. We like it. It probably won't work in 3D." So you know, or one
Oh.
person said it's a little artsy for what we do. So I you know, and what did I know? I'm like, well, they're probably right. So when you know, I put Hector on blast on Instagram Live, I basically like said, tell Hector he's in the chat. Tell him you want to see a figure right now. And so like everybody's like, yeah. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Oh, sorry. Oh, Kyle, sorry.
Again, wow.
Ah. I'm gonna.
It's just so
You know-
different. Like I love it. I just love like our community, the uniqueness and things that we didn't think that would work. I mean, look at this. Like you said, people shot you
amazing.
down, and now it's in hand, and we love it.
Yeah.
Non-Godzilla collectors who come to the house. Well, that piece lives upstairs, so that tells you something right there. It's not in the collection room; it's upstairs. So people come over there, their eyes always go to it. They're like, "That's really cool. What is that? It looks like. Where'd you get that at the Seattle Art Museum gift shop?" I'm like, no, I did not. I got it from Mondo. But it's a conversation piece for the non-Godzilla collectors too, because it, like that person said, it's artsy, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. You
Right.
know?
Absolutely.
But I am holding out for the Attack Peter version of this. I know he wants to do it so badly, and I know his style would lend itself to do this so badly. I'll be stoked when you get to do this.
Dude, I would love to tell you at a later date a conversation we had with some official people pertaining to that, and how I was made to look a fool for knowing a little too much about the property. I have to tell you.
A conversation for a later time.
Another time.
Over
A
some
different
over some
show.
cocktails.
Part
After
two.
the stream. All right.
Part 2. Yeah.
I was humiliated for knowing too much.
Oh no! You can never know too much.
That's right. You can never know too
That doesn't
much.
sit well with me. No, I
Me
don't like
neither.
it. Knowledge should be praised. Anyway, yeah,
Yep,
Takarada
does
not
not
approve.
approve.
Perfect. He had it
Perfect.
queued up
Thank
and
you,
everything.
Yep. Oh, it's queued up.
Yeah.
Anyway, right on.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So I have to get back to this. So because not only did we see this incredible Mechagodzilla, we
Oh yeah.
also
More.
got to see a new Rodan sculpt
we
or a new
did.
Rodan paint app,
Colorway.
right? So, 2 of them. at
That
least,
one's
I
pretty.
think.
That's the glitter one, right? That's like
since
red
we have
glitter,
the
isn't it?
photos, I'll bust them out.
64 Rodan. Very
Oh.
very under
Pat's
designed.
just grabbing
And
it.
I was just watching this last night on the Pluto TV channel, and I was like, I saw the shot. Oh,
Yes.
beautiful!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
gorgeous.
glittery,
Dude.
so sparkly.
Great color choices.
All glitter.
Wow.
That's like Pilot Ace colors. I love it.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks like the upholstery at a diner. Like that glittery.
I'll have the
full
Rodan burger,
glitter. And I don't know. I felt like a Rodan red glitter, brown glitter for the little larva would work.
So wait, is this the glitter figure you've done?
How is he attached on there, Hector? Oh, he just kind of
A magnet.
magnet. Wow. Oh, cool.
No, I tried. You flew too close to the sun.
Uh-oh.
Too close. Yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
But there
That's
we go.
great. That's great.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's an invisible magnet. The
Space
magnets you can't
schedules.
see them at all, so they don't really.
That's cool.
Distract from the figure. That was one of the main things I wanted. I was like, I don't want to see the magnet. But yeah. So the little
It's
larva
so
sits in the back.
64 Rodan, man. I love him.
Yes, but that's
Very
another
nice.
example of like trying to push it, you know, and that idea
Oh,
of
that's
putting the
beautiful
magnetized
color.
larva buddy on it. Come on.
That's
I love
awesome.
that. I think I like that.
That's
color.
the one.
That's my
the
favorite
first
colorway.
release,
Yeah, I
right?
love that one. That's so cool. I love that color spray, and such a contrast with the Mothra larva too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Really
they-
excited.
both of
Yeah,
these will be
yeah.
available later this year. And we have a special release for Comic-Con that I can show on.
Exclusive reveals.
On the tease.
tease.
Oh, of course.
Oh.
That's the one I want. That's the one I
Cherry
want.
blossom.
All right.
Gotta say that cherry blossom
Love it.
colorway. You
Nobody
guys
loves
have really
Wow.
pleased the fans with that color option.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Keep-
I love that
obviously they
people
keep making
lose
it.
their mind over that. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
something of a tradition now that we've been releasing cherry blossom colorways for Comic Con.
It seems like everyone's favorite colorway, the cherry blossom one. Everybody seems
Yeah.
to gravitate towards.
It's just perfect. It's subtle and it's eye popping and it's glows in the dark. I mean, what more could you want, right?
And we changed the glow on this Rodan a little bit too, so it's going to be like a bright green glow. So we're pretty excited about that. And here's one more teaser since we're talking about.
That's what I want.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
That one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my monitor just turned off. Hold on.
That's
that
beautiful.
one to me is like, it's just meant to be cherry blossom.
Is it
It's beautiful.
is it that much of a secret? Because I saw it online too.
It's already online, so
Yeah, we snagged that shot, so hopefully it's not that much.
It's
of a
awesome
secret.
though, dude.
It's not. No, I totally forgot that we had shown up.
I love that you worked blue into this because
too.
blue is not so prevalent in the other ones I've seen. That's
No,
really
you know
nice.
what? It was I had all the spikes gold at some point, and I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to take the shot and do some of do like a turquoisey kind of color. It's so complementary to the pink, and I felt that it'd be really cool to do it in the spikes and they're crystals. It kind of lends itself to like a frosty kind of crystal look. So I'm really happy with
That is the one. I love that one. I absolutely for all the ones look great, but this one for some reason it just shines, man. It shines. It glows.
It glows, yes. And this one glows blue. It's like a bluish tint to it.
So this is only going to be available at Comic-Con.
No,
correct?
it'll be an online release.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So that means we have to get up at the right time and hit refresh.
We I think we hopefully made enough of these of both of them where it should be okay, but
that's actually
probably maybe at least it okay enough to where like you'll have more than like a
good. Okay. That makes me feel better. It makes everybody feel better, I think.
Everybody likes something to look forward to.
We tried to learn from the 84 fiasco that happened back in the day where people were losing their minds over it. But I mean, we at that time we had no idea people would dig it as much as they would. We had like 9,000 people trying to buy it. It was crazy. And we only made 125. So it was one of those things. So I mean,
not to be a few unhappy people.
we're trying to up the edition sizes a bit so that it's a bit
great. That's
easier. Well, if you really want it, you'll be able to get it.
That's
I
great.
noticed that started a few releases ago, right? Kind of like right after you guys got bought by Funko, right? Like that was one of the things that I was like, oh, this is a benefit of more money into the system, right? At least for producing the stuff that we want to see.
Well, and what's funny about collectibles is you have to think about like everything that's coming out this year was already planned like a year ago, right? So whatever comes out next year was planned this year. So we had looked at how the response was to those cherry blossom releases, and so we had made the decision to like, okay, let's try to up it a little bit and see how it goes. And and it did well for Biollante. I think Biollante Cherry Blossom released last year, and we had upped it to 400 units. And it was available for like a few hours, so it was perfect. Everyone who wanted to get it was able to get it.
A few hours is totally fair. Like a few minutes, that's but a few hours is totally fair. You got to get on it if you want it. You got to get on it. Right?
I want to revisit Hedera. When I made the first Hedera, it was very much a fun little project that I didn't think would ever get approved. It was seriously just like, I want to make a cute Hedera. Like, that's it. That's all I wanted to do. And I did it for fun. We had the Toho license, but we did not have soft vinyl. So it was kind of like a pitch. It was like, hey, can we do stuff like this? Like, can we stylize? Can we go crazy? And, they were like, yeah, let's go for it. And so while I do still love that Hedera, I don't think it necessarily fits in with like what the later figures were, which are a little bit more on model. They're a little more like meaner / cute. I think so. I would love to revisit Hedera.
Yeah,
that'd be great. That would be great.
I love it.
Update them.
Awesome. So now the only other thing I have on here in my presentation, from what we know is coming in terms of Godzilla and Mondo, I don't know how official it all is, but is the Godzilla versus Takaro print. Is that Is that Mondo involved, or is that just Peter?
Well, actually, that was the Mondo Comic-Con exclusive last year, and at the booth,
okay.
it sold out at the booth. But you know, because of a bunch of logistic things and all that, we didn't do the AP drop until last night, actually. And I think there was, well, I know there was 50 in total, and it was a special edition, so it's got Baby Takaro at the bottom. But I think there's like maybe single digits left on the Skybound site right now. So for people who are always, you know, saying that it's impossible to get a print, like 9 of you might be able to get one if you had 8. Rich says 8. 8 of you might be able to get one if you went over there, because I didn't really promote this too much because I wanted to make sure the people who are always on our streams have a chance. And so, you know, after the next, maybe tomorrow, day after, I'll promote it a little heavy if there's still any left. But just letting people know, because I get tons of DMs saying, dude, when are you going to do a print? I can never get the print. They sell out so fast, blah, blah, blah. And that one, you know, is a miracle of its existence because Toho officially approved my original Kaiju design, Takaro, to be in a poster facing off against Godzilla. Wow. And make it officially licensed. So that's insane, you know? So more than anything, to me, it's a celebration of what we've been talking about all night, which is Hector was a fan, designed a Godzilla statue. It got noticed, and it became an impetus for something that's like a global phenomenon. You know, I've been a fan, and I designed something, and now it's officially licensed as part of a Godzilla piece of artwork. You know, and I just think it's a symbol, like the Daruma is, like anything, at least for me, anything that I do, I think is a miracle that it exists. I always think it's weird. I'm surprised people like it, but it should at least be a symbol to anybody out there doing something of their own unique styling on something. I mean, you know, talking about Octeal. Have you guys had Octeal on the show before? You should have him on.
No, he has not been on yet, but he's
in the chat
now.
And he's dropping his brand new figure at G-Fest, which is called Kaiju Cream. So it's like an ice cream sundae with Hedera in the middle. And I'm like, man, that's
so cool.
That's the idea. Like, do weird stuff. I almost said the S word, Kyle, and I caught it in my brain, bro.
Peter.
I'm so
my
embarrassed.
Mother
honestly.
will be so happy.
I feel terribly, honestly. But the point is, like, do weird stuff, you know, put it out there. And who knows, man, like it goes all the way sometimes. And that's what I'm most proud of, is that if my stuff can make it to that level, anybody's can, because mine's like really strange looking. So anybody else can do it for sure. So yeah.
I agree with that.
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
Know,
do weird stuff
out there, and you know, just give it a shot. You never know. I think that's kind of like the moral of the story, right? You never know. I didn't know when I made that Godzilla for the school, for my class, that it was going to be something that led me to a job, to another job that eventually led me here, ironically enough, working on Godzilla collectibles. So it's crazy. And like to Peter's point, it's surreal. I still don't believe it every day. And yeah, same thing. It's like, oh, people like what we're designing. Awesome. That's great. I had no idea people would, kind of thing.
And there's so many people in the community that hang on these streams. Like, look at AJ. AJ's got that Spiral Legendary figure out now. That's crazy. I remember talking to him at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020 about like, exactly. Like, you know, what are we doing with our lives? Like, what are we going to be able to realize our goals? And AJ's like, I just want to do something. And look, here it is. And it's sold out and everybody loves it. And it's a real thing. And then look at Last Bastion Studios. Those guys are doing amazing things, and they have big news coming soon. So like, there's just so many people in even our little bubble doing weird things. And that should be a good sign to anybody who wants to do anything weird. You probably could do it if you just like follow through.
It's inspirational for us, especially because we've got a mascot, you know.
Yes,
we'd like to see realized at some point.
I ask you, has it been turned into a toy at all?
A little one.
A little one, right? A little one, but we're hoping to do the Sofubi at some point. You know, that's Kamagon.
The design is so fun. I love
thank you. I've got big plans for this guy. I tell you.
But what you're saying is inspirational because, you know, hopefully next time we talk, or a couple times after this, we'll talk and we'll have one to show you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Everybody should be trying it, man. Like everybody should try and like make a weird goal that's way too lofty and just try. Because even if you fall 50% of a crazy goal, it's still really good. You know.
That's good advice.
It's great
solid
advice. Inspirational.
You guys going to
So-
talk about Godzilla records? Is that what they're asking?
Yeah. Well,
I'm
actually,
reading
this is a good time to mention. Like, is there anything else that Peter and Hector want to show off that they can show off? Anything is like waiting in the wings.
I'll say that I have a record coming out. I'll say I have a record coming out. We haven't unveiled it yet.
Peter sings the blues.
Yeah, it's just me singing impromptu music loosely associated with Mondo.
But it does have a parental advisory on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like everything. Jesus, my door has a parental advisory in my front of my house. But yeah, we have.
Exactly.
We're celebrating your record.
You gave on your track already.
Yeah, but that's the one thing I hadn't done at Mondo yet. And luckily, thanks to the records team, Spence and Mo reached out when I joined in November. And there's going to be an Attack Peter art. There's going to be Attack Peter Godzilla soundtrack for
nice.
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I'll say that. And so that's my first time not doing a Showa piece. And so it's awesome. It's got an original front cover. It's got an original piece of art for the back, and then there's a gatefold with another original. And you won't be able to get them as prints or anything like that. It's just through the vinyl, so it's gonna be really cool. You'll probably see more about that after Comic-Con.
That makes me happy because I am probably one of the biggest fans of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I think it's an underrated film in the series. It's not perfect. The first half of the film is pretty flawless, and then it kind of loses a little steam towards the end. But I love the monster. I love that Godzilla design is the cat's meow for me. Yeah. And I just love there's elements of horror in that film too, and the fact that you're doing I'm stoked.
It came out looking really awesome. I'm really proud of it because I was a little nervous. I hadn't done anything outside of the show yet, and I had started already moving to the point where whenever I draw Godzilla, it looks like this guy now.
Right.
So, but for that one, I wanted to be a little closer on model, and it came out great. So I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it came out really cool, I have to say, and the design team there made it look phenomenal. So hopefully we'll get to do another one too because it was super fun. But you guys will dig it the most.
That's exciting.
Yeah, unfortunately the music's all me a cappella, like Hector pointed out, like just like humming the theme.
What do you mean, unfortunately? I love that stuff.
Yep, basically
like that. Ha 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 ha. Like a little clapping. That's
great.
We'd still buy it.
Yeah. You have to at that point.
Everybody needs to buy that. That's definitely it definitely will be on our gift guide. So this is the perfect opportunity. If we have the time with you guys, if you can stick around for a little bit more, we each have a question for you, and I'm sure some people in the chat are going to have questions for you as well. I will actually turn the microphone over to Christine, where she will ask you her question without me.
One question. All right. Well, I'm going to change my question. So, what I would like to know is, if you could work with anyone, who would you want to work with, and what would you want to design with them?
Anyone like in the world?
Anyone in the whole world. If you're like, I want to work with so and so, and this is what I want to make.
Well, Hector's always wanted to work with AI art. He keeps talking about that. Like, no, you don't want to do that. Don't be shy.
It's the best artist out there. What are you talking about?
It's a little bit of everything. No. Well, my goal right now, I've said it a few times, is to be able to do something with Mike Mignola's artwork.
I was going to say, I know what Peter's answer is going to be.
Like that's my next bucket list thing to cross off. I've been very fortunate, and I made this list of things that I wanted to do 10 years ago, and I feel like I've done almost all of them now. So now I'm just getting really weird.
That's
so
great.
I would love to get something with Mike Mignola's involvement, just to say did it, and same for Guillermo del Toro. I'd love to work on some of their creature designs, and I don't know what it would be. I don't know if I have to stylize anything or not. Just be involved in the makes make the things that I don't have in my collection and have their seal of approval on it would be a dream for me, at least. Yeah.
Perfect answer.
When is Hellboy's? What are you doing in Hellboy, Peter? When is that happening?
I've done a couple Hellboy prints, and I brought him in 2019. I brought him the Hellboy prints to see them. I tried pitching him on having me do. I wanted to do like either a print that's officially licensed, or I really wanted to do like a short story in my style that he writes, and then I would just illustrate as a block print. Thank God he didn't say yes, because that would take me a million years. For anybody waiting for the book, believe me, I didn't think that carving 90 pieces of art would take as long as it's taken, but it's taken. And so yeah, he's seen the artwork. He dug it a lot. You never know. We'll come back around through more official channels. You never know.
AJ is saying that he didn't mean a print. He wants a toy.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
All right. So
how about you, Hector?
Oh, I'm gonna say Art Adams.
Oh, that's a good one.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Really good answer. Everybody knows Art
Yeah,
Adams.
I mean, I would love to work with Art Adams and bring his style in, especially with Godzilla. We're talking about Godzilla, right? His style of Godzilla is his approach to it is so cool and iconic, and some of my favorite Godzilla artwork out there. So it'd be amazing to try to realize that in 3D, right? And kind of continue that. So yeah, I would love to work with Art Adams.
Yeah, Art Adams, anything. I mean, like his King Kong designs are amazing. Just try to nail that style. And going back to the Mignola designs he did during the pandemic, I think he nailed Ultraman.
Oh yeah, he did.
It's perfect amount of Ultraman, perfect amount of Mignola. That would be one of those I would love to see.
Yeah,
come to
the
life.
Dark Horse comics are so good.
Oh,
Yep.
I actually saved all those.
Oh yeah, they're that good.
Yeah, they're so good. So
and he put out a book, and they're not all in it, so you had to have saved like the pictures because I bought the quarantine sketchbook. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Oh,
this.
Yeah, those are great.
Dude, go back to that first slide again. Go back to that one.
Oh yeah, they're so.
This right here.
The Godzilla is like.
Yes.
I love those proportions. They're so good.
Yeah,
I would do
cool.
that like this.
Mm-hmm.
Who has his number? Kyle, call him. Aren't you in Portland? Isn't that where he lives?
Yeah. Let me just look it up. He's not in Portland.
Want to do this?
Yeah.
I
would do it in a
I
second.
love the
Cool
Pigmon.
stuff.
Pigmon's
Yeah,
great.
look at the pig one. It looks creepy. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, those are cool.
Although he admitted in one
I'm
post.
a huge Hellboy fan. If people didn't know that.
Yeah, me too. Look. Oh wait,
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah,
buddy.
this side. Oh yeah, I got a little. I can't show
Right
it
hand
off.
up.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
bad.
there you go.
Never mind. Forget it. Believe me, I have a tattoo. There it is.
Oh yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
I like
great.
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Look how
cool.
good that looks.
That's a 62-esque
awesome.
looking Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Anyway, I hear you. Working with
That would
Big
be-
Nolan would be great. I would
Art
I would
Adams
champion that for
any
you,
day.
sir. Art Adams also. I think every Kaiju fan knows Art Adams' work, right?
He's a big toy collector too.
Much,
Godzilla
yeah.
toy collector. I'd love to do it.
He used to live up here in Portland too.
Yeah. Maybe we'll harass him at Comic-Con.
Yep.
There you go. Okay,
Storm his table.
so David, your question.
Me. Okay, so before I ask my question, which is a little selfish, my question, you'll understand in a minute. I would like to see Peter work with John Carpenter and do a 3D The Thing figure. Okay, how cool would that be?
I
Like
would love to do it.
to sort of like complement your artwork that I just love the way you interpret that Siberian Husky monster.
love that
And
print.
it's
Did you guys
so
dig that? Because I
Oh,
would love
loved
to.
it.
I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
I had a
appreciate it.
Siberian Husky, and I was just like, oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
I had a Husky mix too, so it's like, yeah, I kind of want one of those. But
Yeah.
anyway, my question is a little bit selfish, and it's actually more like a request. So, is there any possibility that you guys would ever collaborate with Mondo on doing a storyboard style Godzilla figure,
I'd love to do that.
just like your tattoo on your arm, on your hand, just
Yeah.
like that? I mean,
That one I guess, yeah.
it could be a bust.
By the way,
Oh, that's
Akil
cool.
did that one.
Akil, obviously,
It,
you can't-
it could be
can't miss his art.
it could be a Sofubi. It could be Hector could design a statue. It could be anything.
Don't you?
that-
You have
that
one there, don't you?
represents-
You have
As
the
a
knots.
Yeah,
That's
well, I've got the
You have the
knots.
knots.
I've got the
Yeah,
knots.
that one.
This one. This
I
one.
mean,
Man.
that one's so.
Can it
good.
get better than that?
I mean, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, that's.
But not this. Okay, this is not selfish. I mean, because not a lot of people were able to get this, and people really want this design.
And what does that one go for nowadays? Like the bare bones version, not cool paint?
I
Like
think maybe $100 or so.
Yeah,
How much?
yeah, about $100. Yeah.
For that one?
For shipping.
No, dude, I'm messing around.
No, it's. But I think that you guys have done. You're gonna dabble into the Millennium Godzillas, but you've done a lot of Showa stuff. You've done sort of an original take on Godzilla. But if you could sort of get licensed to do a storyboard design of Godzilla, I think that would be. Selfishly, that would be so cool. I would love. I would love that.
Let me take this away from David for a second, because I think the
away.
couching. I'm not taking it away from you. Let me borrow it for a second.
I know. Go ahead.
The couching in terms that you're using here shouldn't be like, oh, it's selfish. It should be like, hey, look, you guys did this cool thing with Groman where he did this really killer Godzilla that's not appearing on the screen, which is really
that's what I meant to say. Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
how cool would it be to really just dive all the way back into the pre-production of that first movie and release a figure from I don't know, say the cool storyboards. Anyway.
Well, how about this? Put a 0 in the chat if you would want that.
Well, and it's not even unprecedented for us. I mean, we did the cartoon Godzilla, right, from the 70s, first ever release.
Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, yeah.
So it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibilities, and I personally love that design. So
and putting things out there in the universe, Hector, sometimes it gets grasped onto, and what made me sort of happy is the fact that you were able to do the skull, the eaten away, damaged Godzilla, because for a while that was something that we didn't see in a figure or any Sofubi, and then all of a sudden we're getting a couple pieces like that, and I think that's really, really cool. So that means the floodgates could possibly open to more unique figures and more unique properties, and like Kyle said, things that never actually appeared on screen, which I know Toho has been reluctant to sort of give the green light to in the past. But anyway, that was my question.
It's worth asking.
Great question, dude.
I don't have it either, so I would want it selfishly too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, with us, and especially with the soft vinyl line, the goal is to get to every monster eventually, right? And then if people are digging what we're doing with Peter's stuff, then the goal would be to get to every monster eventually.
Yeah. Oh, we dig it. We're digging it.
Yeah.
We totally dig it, and a Peter style storyboard would be just completely crazy.
Oh my God,
I mean,
could you imagine?
that I can't imagine. And Hector,
cool.
You could sculpt a more realistic one too. So either way you slice it, we're gonna win. So just putting it out there.
Yeah, I love it. I love that design tremendously, and I was of the mind that everybody was satiated with that one because it's so good.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I mean, it is pretty perfect.
All 20
excellent.
of them that were released, right?
David, do me a favor. Take
Yes,
the
sir.
one that you have.
Yes.
Put it in a box. Ship it to us, and that way we can study it for a long time to really get an idea.
You know what? I would do that because that's how much I trust you guys. I would totally do that.
No. But yeah, that I love the idea, and I love that paint on that one too. It does look so good with all the pink colors on it, all those paint apps on it. It'd be cool to get an Octeal colorway on it too.
Oh my God! If I get a blank.
No, I got to give a shout out to Matthew Octeal because when I saw you do that, you got the tattoo that I want to get, but I have to get it somewhere else. I can't get it there anyway.
No, get it. The other hand. We can shake hands and then final.
Whatever. But he was kind enough to let me make a T-shirt out of that design.
Oh,
so
cool.
I got it. I'm going to unveil it at G-Fest.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool. No, I was able to. He was so kind to do that, and I'm so stoked that he allowed me to, and it came out really good too. So I'm going to be wearing it at G-Fest.
He's the man. Great dude.
Man. And I can't wait to meet him in person. I can't wait to meet all.
He's going. That's right.
Yeah.
He is definitely going. And
Speaking of, why are you guys going? When is
they're not going.
We're dopes. We're not that cool. Yeah, it turns out like
Mondo gonna have a
well,
table
who
at
has the
G-Fest?
bright idea at
Their dance
G-Fest?
card is full, man.
No. Here's our serious question. Who is the genius at G-Fest who
It's the
says,
San Diego
let's put it
Comic-Con
right
room.
up against San Diego Comic-Con,
I know.
that tiny
I
little
know.
show that no one goes to. Like, we would love to go hang at G-Fest, and it's like, we've been in San Diego Comic-Con prep. I mean, Hector's painting up prototypes like he's doing 12-hour shifts. And so it's like our Comic-Con prep starts months out. So it'd be like, this is what we want. Who's in charge of G-Fest? Are they watching right now?
They could be.
Move your show.
Maybe.
They could be.
Give me the one, Kyle.
Oh, you blow you up. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Excuse me. To those of you who run G-Fest, what are you doing? Are you not aware of the rest of humanity and society? We would love to attend your show just as a fan, just to buy cool stuff and hang out with all these people. High five with the tattoo handshake we just talked about. But you're making it impossible. Please move the show to a more convenient time for everybody watching. Thank you so much. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it always runs
you.
up to
No,
That's the reason.
It's totally true. And,
That's the
and
only reason why I haven't attended.
here's the interesting thing, guys. You know, I'm moving to Southern California, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So
welcome to the
I will
neighborhood.
probably not be going to G-Fest. I'll probably be going to San Diego Comic-Con because I don't have to get on a plane. So
Not this year.
not this year.
No,
not this year.
Yeah,
No,
no.
no, not this year.
Yeah, we're going to be neighbors. We're going to only be like an hour away from each other.
Wow, we're going to be your best buddies. It's
Yeah.
There you
great.
go.
Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I really am.
All right.
But yeah, we'd love to go.
Excitement aside, let's go move along to our next question, which is not from me, but from Leslie P. Chambers, who is asking, who I think, as we mentioned before, he's not into the soul
Right.
thing. So I was kind of hoping he was going to be here to sort of like lean a little bit more into the statue stuff, because that is his jam, right? And so,
Dude, can I go back to the question that Christine asked? Now I have a better answer. The truth is, I would love to design a soft vinyl figure with Leslie.
Oh my god.
What it would take. I want to figure
To turn him to the soft vinyl side?
It would take hell to freeze over.
There's got to be something. There's got to be
Hell
something.
to freeze over.
Right, get a hold of us, Leslie. Maybe we can figure out that threshold crossing piece, the one that unites the
sweet
the
spot.
parties.
Yeah, the sweet spot that unites everybody.
It's
I
out
like
there.
that. That's a
It's
good way
there
to say it.
somewhere. You just got to find it.
Okay, so Leslie, we said, John, sorry you can't be here. Leslie, sorry you can't be here. But if you want to ask a question, you are more than welcome to do so. And so Leslie is asking, from these three specific sort of deep cuts in the Godzilla mythos, what would you be more likely to release a statue of? I guess it's which one of these you see yourselves doing in the future, at least. Would it be the Godzilla Tower, the Lake Myojin appearance of Godzilla, where the Planet X saucers pull him up out from under the water, or the appearance reveal of Godzilla is really Mechagodzilla in 1974?
I'm gonna let Hector answer this question.
I mean, one of the three might already be in the works. So,
Oh, Leslie dream come true.
yeah. And then I would say another one has a very, 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 very strong chance of going into.
That's
the
awesome.
very soon.
Yeah. So 2 out of 3 are very realistic possibilities.
Yeah, one ultra realistic,
Yes.
which is already the concept's all done for it.
Concept
and
got
the other-
approved?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the other one is definitely gonna happen. So yeah, I can't tell
There
you
you
which
have
ones
it.
yet.
Yes.
But they are happening.
Yeah. And
That's awesome.
but he said statue. Is that a hard line? Like I'm only gonna buy it if it's like a polystone situation?
I mean,
Leslie, be
specifically,
flexible.
He didn't
Whatever.
flex the statue line
Okay,
for me,
okay.
but I was posing it
Okay.
for Leslie since he's not here. But yeah,
We know
I mean,
Leslie. He's probably going to be something on the more realistic side than
I-
a stylized Sophia.
yeah.
If I know Leslie, we all kind of do. That's what.
How
he's
does Leslie
probably
feel about the Passion Tank 64? Did he give any thoughts?
He didn't.
No
Really,
He wasn't doing backflips for it, Peter. So
yeah.
you know what has to happen
Figures
is
come
Leslie
out.
has to see the benefit. When Leslie is a collector, I'm not trying to make him seem like a newbie because he's not a newbie. But like,
No, please.
when Leslie
I got
stepped into
into
the
X Plus
collecting
because of
game-
Leslie.
Yeah, but when
Oh.
Leslie stepped into the collecting game, he he saw
Mostly it's like resin.
he saw the highly detailed stuff, and when he was there, he's like, "Oh, all of this stuff is available, or it's coming out." Like, he hasn't been sitting there staring at his collection for 5 years, going, "I don't have a freaking Varan," right? Like that's what forced me to get my first Sofubi pieces. Is like, I don't have a 64 Godzilla in my collection way back in the day. So I think that's really tough to get Leslie into any kind of mindset where he's going to want something that's... honestly, I'm shocked that he likes Defa reels. So really what you got to do is partner with X Plus. That's what I would say. Partner with X Plus if you want Leslie to buy something.
We'll win him over.
I tell you, he's my white whale. I feel like I gotta nail this somehow.
Well, he did buy the Hector's SOS statue. He does have that.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. I think he has the
SOS.
The 89 as well.
He has the 89 too, but I know he has the SOS statue as well. He loves that.
Well, that's good.
Didn't he get the Mothra one too?
Oh yeah, he has Mothra too.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, he likes the statues. That's Leslie's deal. I'm not saying he's not a Mondo man.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but I understand Peter wants to develop a Sofubi that crosses boundaries and unites all fans. I get it.
I thought the Passion Tank was warm. Like when I saw that, I'm like, you're getting warm. Right? I know the colors.
I mean, how
I tried to sell it to him. Not sell it to him, but sell the concept to him. Like,
right.
You need one of these, and he was not doing backflips.
Interesting. I'd like to hear his
realistic
notes.
too.
Is it because it's blue? Is that why?
It's the color. I think a lot of it has to do with the color. If this was painted gray and a very realistic 64.
It reminds me of the NES Godzilla.
Yes.
Because otherwise it looks pretty realistic,
it really does,
right?
Yeah.
I'd be fascinated to see if someone... I mean, David, David, you're not busy. Do me a favor. Paint up one that looks much more realistic, and then we'll run that by Leslie.
I could do that.
I've seen a realistic paint job on a Passion Tank.
Okay.
I think somebody.
We'll have to
revisit
that later. See how
we got to present that to him and see what he says because.
I like that. I like that he is true to his position, and that just makes me want to figure it out even more.
We will break you.
All right. So, Mr. Ruffin also asked a question. John said, "How does Mondo determine what fans and collectors want, and like how do you do your market research?" And actually, I'm wondering after this chat, like, do you guys do market research at all, or is it's all like, no, we're the fans and we're making this stuff?
Go ahead, Hector.
I mean, Mondo as a whole, right? You know, with the posters and the records and all of that. I mean, everyone who works at Mondo and the people who are making the decisions to put out what posters coming out, what records coming out, what toys coming out, right? We're all fans, and that's 90% of the reason why it exists. I will say that it's if you're getting an odd Pokesari figure, it wasn't because there was. What market research do you do for that? I mean,
you mean that order didn't come down from on high? Where's the Pokesari figure that corporate ordered? Yeah,
even
definitely
like doing something like, just obscure, whatever it is, even in our, we were the first ones in the collectibles to put out X-Men the Animated Series collectibles figures. And, I was just a fan of the show. I just was like, this is one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid. I want to make this make toys for it. And that was it. We didn't know if people were going to be into it or not, but, and I want to say the same. I don't want to speak for the posters team or records team, but I'm pretty sure that you don't get a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla soundtrack coming out or whatever other soundtracks we put out. If it wasn't really, we're all just hardcore fans of this, and that's why it exists.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's like I think we're super fortunate that we are fans because we don't have to worry too much about market research. And like when we've had a question on like if we're on the fence about something, we do reach out to our unofficial consultants and we say, hey, push us over the line on one side or the other on this. because sometimes you're too close to it and you're like, okay, maybe I'm not being objective here, but ultimately it's and we've said this before, our idea sessions are Friday afternoons, the last meeting of the day. It looks a lot like this stream with Tommy Hodges, our sculptor, Alex Brewer, another sculptor. Sometimes we got Bob Fulkerson and Caitlin, the toy team. Yeah.
And then we have a couple new additions to the team, Jordan, Sean, Cole. They're all, we just kind of hang out, and then we throw. Sometimes it becomes a wild idea that's random, and it turns into a toy.
Yeah, the most recent I think example of that is it's not Godzilla related, but the giant Juggernaut soft vinyl figure that we premiered at the licensing show. That is totally outside of really anything that we're doing. I mean, the closest connection it has is James Groman soft vinyl man thing. But aside from that, it's its own thing. And we were just sitting in our meeting talking about our Marvel 6-scale stuff. And like, it'd be cool. Juggernaut. But do we do them in the 6-scale line? Because that would be a little unwieldy potentially. Or do we just make them this big vinyl thing that and you can pick them up and you have to be worried about it break. And then we said, let's do, and everyone was like, yeah, we should do that. And then someone goes, and we should do this with it, and we should do that with it. And then that's how that project started.
And a few days later, Tommy sculpted it.
Yeah, in his threading the needle in his spare time because he was working on other projects, but he was so excited. He just sculpted it up real quick. Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic.
That's our market research.
That's the market.
Not to make us sound unprofessional.
No, but I think we trust
it sounds like you guys love what you do, and I think that's what comes through.
I think that's Mondo. Yeah, that's what makes Mondo special.
And clearly, it's working. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
And look, in this, and in this new era where Funko, now is owner of Mondo, right? They acquire Mondo. Like, it's been just the same thing. They're actually like throwing gasoline on the fire. They're like, more, do it, do weirder, get bigger, crazier, whatever it is. So it's awesome in that now we have, the support from them and a lot of unlocks that they're providing for us, and just knowing that we can be comfortable and have our weird little meetings and know that they trust us so that we can trust ourselves and each other to just whatever comes, and that's so rare. We talk about it all the time. Hector and I, we say, dude, on our most stressed out days, because there are days where we're like, this is a brutal day. And at the end of the day, we say to each other, like, hey, just remember, we are so freaking lucky that this is what we're stressed out about, that this is what we're struggling with, because I remembered, I know Hector does too, like a time where this seemed outside the realm of all likelihood and possibility.
Absolutely.
And
not too long ago.
Yeah, no, exactly. For me, it was like, I was in 2019, I was still teaching, and I love teaching, and I love teaching art to all those kids. But in my planning periods, I would just look at Mondo on Instagram, like, or looking at my other, place that clip, like, it'd be so cool to do something like this one day, And so it's never lost on us. And that's why we love doing these streams and coming to talk to you guys and coming to talk to everybody and let them know, hey, we watch all these shows too. We do. And we listen to all the commentary. We're in the Facebook groups. We love hearing what people have to say, and the ideas that you bring up, we take them very seriously, and it's basically your company too, because we're just fans like you guys.
Excellent answer, love it.
Fantastic. All right, I got a couple of questions here in the chat, real quick. Any more Groman Toho figures in the pipeline?
Not right now. I'll answer. That's pretty honestly. We have them busy on a bunch of other properties at the moment, which we're super excited about. Yeah, yes. There's some really cool stuff coming out that James is working on with us at the moment. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Absolutely.
No. What would you guys have Groman do next? Let us know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, think about it.
Safubi love, yeah, absolutely. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
I've still been planning what the next Godzilla is going to be, right? I mean, because Godzilla in and of itself, we have like 30 different options to pick from.
Right.
I keep tossing up between, do I do a Heisei that kind of sits well with the Space Godzilla that we just put out, which is hopefully it's going to be shipping soon. So I know people have been asking. I saw it in the chat. It's already on the water, so you could probably expect it in the next month or so.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been thinking about that, or I've been going, just All Out Monster Attack is one of my favorite Godzilla movies ever. So I've been
My gosh.
thinking about that, and I love that design so much. So I've also been kind of going back and forth with that. But I think we are currently working on a Showa era type of release, so that should be exciting.
Yeah. And
Enzyme
Hector's
2000
favorite
is asking-
Godzilla is
oh,
the
go ahead.
1967 Godzilla suit, and he always talks about he wants to do it.
Aww.
Pretty sure that's Peter's favorite.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh, that's fine.
It's a good suit.
It's the best suit.
I already did
know
my
what?
favorite. It was 84.
I have love for it. I've got love for it. It's not my favorite, but I definitely have love for it.
It's the best.
We love them all.
It's the best.
They're all good.
Enzyme
no,
2000 is
they're not.
asking if
not
there
all
have been
good.
any ideas that you basically have come up with, but that you haven't pursued, and that you're kind of hoping Mondo will revisit those ideas later on.
I mean, it's usually just a bandwidth thing. We have so many ideas that and I think probably that's what drives a lot of us internally is it's like a race to get to everything, because it would be a shame to leave anything on the floor. You know what I mean? It's just so fun.
Mondo overall is a very small team.
Yeah.
Before we had a couple new additions the past couple months to our department, the collectibles department. It was really just 5 people, right? Really just kind of doing the day-to-day work to make a collectible exist. Obviously, we have all the amazing, marketing folks and, the people in customer service at Mondo, which is incredible, and everyone behind the scenes. But the core team was so small. So it's every release requires so much attention. And the soft vinyl stuff is like a reprieve, because for me, they're just fun to do. But our 6-scale figures and all of that requires so much attention. Yeah. That like Peter said, it's a bandwidth thing. But as our team grows and all that, I'm hoping we're able to support more of just Godzilla and just everything in general.
And the whole, like Hector mentioned, the whole of Mondo, the toy collectible team is quite small. I dare, it might be the smallest team in the collectible space that's producing at this level, but the rest of the Mondo company is also so much made up of fans, and they all do all this work behind the scenes, like Hector was saying, that doesn't always get recognized, because you don't think about it, but we have a great customer service team that when there are issues, or if there are issues, they handle all that, or they get the emails and say, hey, someone suggested this, just keep it in the back of your mind. So shout out Mac and Tori on that side. We have great management that does logistic stuff behind the scenes. Like we were talking about Caitlin earlier. So it's a whole bunch of people that are all doing all this behind the scenes stuff, so that those of us who are on the creative side can just focus on that. Because if we had to do that and all the rest of it, the quality of everything would suffer so much. So it's an awesome company when you realize that just everybody has this role, and they're just pulling and doing everything they can so that we can put out the exciting stuff that everybody gets stoked on. So it's good to think about that once in a while, because it takes everybody.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to finish things off with my question, which if you look at the can we talk posters? I know that we've been talking about toys so much, but if you look at the overall coverage of Godzilla posters from Mondo, there's really not a lot of empty spots, openings that you would be able to pinpoint. So I would say to each of you, of those open slots, who would you like to work on the GMK poster?
You mean you're basically saying, where's the GMK poster?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the only one left? GMK?
No, it's not the only one for sure.
We've done a lot.
You have done so many Godzilla posters. Yeah.
It's one of the glaring misses for sure.
But
definitely
not
missing,
not just are you going to do it, because I know you're going to do it, but like who is going to do it?
Oh
Who
my
do you
god!
want to
Imagine
do
saying a name and then the people who we don't mention. It's funny. There's always, and I'll speak candidly. I don't know the full answer to this question, so I'm going to speak candidly. There are always weird things when it comes to licensing. Like sometimes you get this era but not that era, or you get this era but not this movie, and if you get this movie you can't include this thing, and so should you do the movie because you can't include the thing you want to include in it? And that's not just for Godzilla, that's all the licenses. So I actually don't know the answer to that question right now. I'm gonna have to like go back and take it to the team and say, hey, because that's a good point, we should get one. And there's a big anniversary next year for Godzilla, obviously, that it would be awesome to hit those holes that we haven't filled yet, for sure. Absolutely.
And if you
I'll say
can't
this,
hit that next year for GMK, just keep in mind that
wait 5 years.
2026 will be the 25th anniversary.
Okay, then just hold tight.
I'm good at that.
I would say that if I had my choice of artists, it would be probably Florian Bertmer, who's done so much great work. Like he did an amazing Shin Godzilla poster for us a couple of years ago, and he has, to me, he's done the single greatest Alien poster that Mondo ever put out.
Yeah, and
he's the guy.
He did the Rebirth of Mothra record album.
Oh right, yep.
He did the box art on the '89. Like he's a huge fan too. So I just think whatever I think of, like, Heisei and beyond, I really think of Florian because of how much attention he. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
how much attention he pays to that kind of. Yeah, right. And it's like all the gnarly details in there. He's almost like has like a contemporary Groman aesthetic in a way. Like he really pays attention to that kind of stuff. So he's always going to be my vote.
Nice.
Cool.
But there are some new artists that we're working with this year that have never done Mondo posters. So if you're a fan of what Mondo's done historically, which is introduce the audience to new creators. Like not a lot of people knew about my work before 2020. So they gave me a platform, and now more people know my work. So, one of the most exciting things, and I'm working really closely with the poster team these days. One of my favorite things about what we're doing right now is we're literally going into our favorite artists and people who haven't worked with Mondo before, all different styles, and seeing who we can put on what. There's I can't say it for sure, but there's an amazing possibility for early next year that I hope comes to fruition. I just want you guys to see it. But yeah, we're gonna bring a lot of new artists on, and hopefully make a lot of new fans to new artists, right? New favorites, new like someone mentioned Tom Whalen. He's done so much great stuff for Mondo over the years. He's almost synonymous with it. But who's gonna be the next Tom Whalen? That's what I want to figure out now.
Yeah, somebody in here was asking about pins too. Steven was asking about more Mondo pins.
Yeah, he's got.
More
By the way,
total
he's got a
pins.
bunch for sale right now. I think he's doing a Tom Whalen pop-up shop this
That's
week.
right.
This
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So if you're missing any from his set, you should definitely hit him up. Totally.
For real. All right. Well, guys, I don't think we need to spend that much more time here. You guys have been very generous by giving us an hour and 40.
Have you had Urban Aztec on your show before, Jesse Hernandez? You're gonna want him soon.
I love his stuff. Yeah, is he doing something that we're gonna want to cover?
I don't know
here?
that. I'm just saying you're gonna want to talk to him in the future.
Don't you?
He's a
we
really
will reach
nice
out.
guy. No, it's just he has a great personality. That's all.
No, he is awesome. I mean, his stuff is amazing. Yeah,
Monster size energy.
it's the kind of energy we need.
That's it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor to talk to you about what's coming out Godzilla-wise. I can't wait to see what's coming for San Diego Comic-Con and beyond. And hopefully you guys are going to be continually updating us throughout the years with all these awesome, cool things that you guys are doing with the Godzilla license and hopefully even more monster licenses. To all the 54 people who are still watching live, you guys are troopers. thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out and watching as we got to pick these guys' brains for a little bit. If you want to see them back, please let us know, because we would love to have these guys back on again for another
Anytime.
Kaiju update in the future. Hopefully we will see you at a convention or event not too far away. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for being here and doing this with us, guys.
Anytime, man. We love you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. You always have a platform here.
Yeah,
Anytime.
thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Well, until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite and collect
all
monsters! Thank you, everybody. We will see you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.